Hi, in this lecture, I will go over ZyBook examples. Let's look at the driving cost function. This is the driving cost function found in the ZyBook. In this example, this is an optional lab, so I can do that without affecting your grade. Driving is expensive. So the lab starts with a description. Driving is expensive. Write a program with a car's miles per gallon and gas dollar per gallon, both floating point number, as input, and output the gas cost for 10 miles, 50 miles, and 400 miles. Output each floating point value with 2 digits after the decimal point, and you can use the string format like this. We will talk more about string format next week. So if the input is 20 and for 20 miles per gallon and 3.1599 for dollar per gallon, then the output going to be 1.58, 7.90, 63.20. So if this is the input, this is the expected output. Your output should look something like this. Your program must define and call the following driving cost function. So I have a driving cost function, have a 3 input, driven miles, mile per gallon, dollar per gallon. So if this function got these 3 inputs, 50, 20, 20, and 3.1599, this should be the output. And this is what the pie chart look like. And what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to copy this. I can also write this program here, but I want to use a pie chart. And bring up the pie chart and do a driving cost and paste it in. It said define your function here. The function I'm defining is this function. So I am going to copy this too. This is the function and I will put a path here, like I always do. And before we write this, we want to understand how to do this. So this is your main program. This part here of the code is a main program. It's a type of code here. It's stated there in the lab. Write a program with car mile per gallon, gas dollar per gallon, both as an input. That means you need to prompt user for input. So let's do the input. So we have a mile per gallon MPG. It's float input. Enter MPG. Dollar per gallon DPG. It's float input. Enter dollars per gallon. And what do we need to do then? We need to call the function for 50 miles, 10, 50, and the 500. And it also gives you a hint about the print statement. So let me do this. And you have seen me write a lot of test program where I call the print function. And in this case, print your value. What my value is, I want to call the function driving cost for 10 and given the MPG and the dollar per gallon for 10, and let me do that for 50 and 400. And let's run this program. 20, 3.1599. We got the error because I have a pass. Maybe I should put a return -1 for now to make us happy. 20, 3.1599. They are -1.00. That's fine. Again, looking for no syntax error. That the program run. Now we need to calculate the driving cost. And I set up this here so I can write on this page here. So given the mile per gallon, given miles driven, mpg mile per gallon, and dollar per gallon, how to find how much it costs? So mile driven and the mpg. In order to find out how much, what is the cost, I need to know how many gallons of gas you use, right? So if I know the mile driven, if I take the miles driven divided by mile per gallon, I will give you how many gallons of gas used for the trip. And if I know how many gallons of gas, times dollars per gallon, hey, look at this. This gallon cancel and leave me with dollar. That tell me how much dollar. So for example, if I say make a simple example, if I driven for 100 miles, my mpg is, say, is a 50. I have one of the good hybrid mile per gallon, and the gas is maybe a $250. So how much do I use? If I do 100 miles divided by 50, that will give me 2 gallons. That will give me 2 gallons of gas. And 2 gallons times 250, that will give me $5. That seems reasonable. So this is what we're going to do in our program. We are going to find out gallons used would be the driven mile divided by the miles per gallon, and then the cost would be the gallon used times dollars per gallon, and return cost. And now if I run this, say 23.1599, and these are the output. And take a look at this output here. Does it look like what you see here? And if you satisfy with this, so let's copy Control A and Control C, copy, and come over here, and I'm going to paste it in, and I can run the program inside here, and notice that in ZyBook you see the prompt showing up, and we actually don't want to see the prompt. This is the input, no prompt. So I am going to remove these messages inside, and for most part, that's what we need to do. We will need to do the input with no prompt in ZyBook. And let me just run this again. And then the output, this output now looks just like this output here. And if I go to submit mode and submit for grading, I got 10 out of 10. Pat yourself in the back. But what happens if I have an error? For example, what happens if I fat finger put a space here? Let's submit for grading and see what happens. Uh-oh, I do not get full credit. Do you see this part here? It tells me your output have a space and it wasn't expecting it. So I will correct that. What happened if I add a new line? Let's submit for grading and see what happened. This symbol means new line. Your output have a new line. They wasn't expecting it. So again, you miss couple point because of that. The other place that they only test your function, not your program output. So you still get the credit for the function being work. So let's correct that. Now what happens if you do not use this? You use just a regular print statement. For example, if I just remove this here, maybe I do this print driving cost like this, and I will remove all of these. Common enough for now. As you can see, you can actually do development inside the ZyBook. I just like to do that in the PyCharm because it's more you have more freedom. And if I submit for grading, you will see that it failed all the tests. The reason is my output. Your output produce no output. Oops. Because of a syntax error. Okay, I forgot a closing parenthesis here. So let's try that again. You can see that it complained my output does not look like the expected output. So again, I did not get the full credit. When they test a function, it returned the correct output, but not my program output. And what happens if I make a mistake on my function? Say, instead of divide here, I use integer division. And see what happens. Now I do not get any credit. My program output is incorrect, and my function output is incorrect also. And these are the track of all the attempts I did so far. So let's correct all the mistake. Instead of integer division, it should be regular division, and I should have the 2 decimal output. And let's submit for grading. Like, oops, I did not fix the one last one. The colon dot 2f here. So let's do that. And I got 10 out of 10. The ZyBook will take your highest grade from all the submission you made. So if you make a mistake from something that get from 9 out of 10 to become 7 out of 10, if you don't make any more correction, it will take your highest grade, which is 9 out of 10. Always read the error to see why your program did not get the full credit and correct your lab problem. You can write the program inside the ZyBook. I just prefer doing it in the PyCharm because it's easier. and then you will copy and paste the one in the PyCharm to the ZyBook, or you can do it inside the ZyBook from the beginning. It's up to you. If you have any question about programming, let me know. Thank you.